Hello, my name is Molly McDonald, and we are going to be doing the Aseptic Techniques use of media. So I just wanted to go over our items needed for this. So we have our sterile pipette, we have our broths here. As you can see, we have our bacteria, and we have our Bunsen burner, a pen to label things, the loops in the experiment. We also have our PPE that we're going to be putting on, the agar plate, and then 2 isopropyl containers for sterilization. And then we also have our bags, which we are going to be filling full of a bleach concentrate to dispose of all the items. To get started, we're going to first wash our hands and then disinfect our cleaning area. Okay, next we are going to disinfect or wash our hands. So we're going to use an antibacterial soap. We're going to get our hands wet. We are going to wash for 20 seconds. Next, we're going to put our PPE on. As you can see, I have my goggles on, my gloves, and my protective garb. So next we're going to disinfect the area. So this is my concentrate that I've made of 9 parts water and 1 part bleach. So we're going to spray and disinfect. When disinfecting, we want to make sure that we're leaving it for 2 minutes and wiping it clean. And we're also doing our rack and our pen and anything else that we might possibly need in this experiment. Next, we're going to take our tridiploid soy broth and we are going to take it out of the fridge and let it sit for 15 minutes to warm up, which has already been done. Then we're going to fill our cups full of about 70% with isopropyl alcohol. The next step is we're going to label, which I've already done, with the date and the bacteria name so that we don't get it mixed up. And then we're going to start to wake up our organism here. Next, I'm going to light the burner. And then we are going to open my pipette, which I've already done. We're going to make sure that it stays in here and that it doesn't get contaminated on the table. Then what we're going to do is we're going to open this and we're going to put the cap directly in the trash. Okay, now that we have it opened, this is again the Micrococcus luteus. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this with our pinky so that the cap does not touch. We are going to take 1 milliliter of the tri-tip soy broth. Right there. We are going to drop it into our bacteria. And again, putting this back in, we are going to, which I have accidentally dropped and need to disinfect now, put this back on, and then we're going to wait about 30 seconds for this to come together. Okay, we are going to back up a bit. I actually forgot to put this in the flame and sterilize actually. Then we'll do the 1 milliliter of the broth into this, which I've already done. And then we're going to replace the stopper back on and then wait the 30 seconds. Once this is done, we're going to shake it up a bit and then we'll take the contents from this bacteria back into the broth. Okay, so I'm going to now mix this up, trying to not create any air bubbles, and then suck it all the way up. Then I'm going to put this contents into here. Again, putting the pipette back in there and also keeping a hold of this. I'm going to flame this again to kill any possible bacteria that might have gotten stuck. And then we are going to turn this, but we're gonna leave it just a little bit open so that the bacteria can have some air while it grows. So we are then going to dispose of this and then blow out our flame. We're also going to dispose of our pipette in the proper trash. I just want to make note that this pipette is going to be going into the isopropyl to kill anything, and then it's going to be put into the jar after that, or the bag, to be disposed of correctly. We are then going to let the bacteria culture, grow for the next 24 to 48 hours until we can see some growth in the tube, and then we will continue with our experiment. We always want to make sure that we are disinfecting everything again after it. So we're going to disinfect, and then in 48 hours we will start again. Okay, today we are going to do the aseptic transfer from the broth culture to broth, the broth culture to the slant, and then the broth culture to the petri dish. So as you can see, I have washed my hands for 2 minutes. I've gotten all my PPE on. I have disinfected the table for 2 minutes. I've gotten all my refrigerated slant and petri dish out and let it set at room temperature for 15 minutes. I've also got my prepared isopropyl alcohol to dispose of the loops. I have labeled everything today so that we can make sure that we don't mix anything up and we know what we're growing. So today I'm going to light the Bunsen burner. What we're going to do is I have my loops here. They're not out of the container. We're going to make sure that we keep them in the container and we don't infect anything. So we're going to get our sample that we have grown, and what we're going to do is we're going to open it like this. I'm going to get my loop out with my dominant hand. I'm going to make sure it doesn't touch anything. At a slant, I'm going to burn the top. I'm going to grab just a little bit and make sure that we're shaking this just so that we so that we are getting some bacteria on. We are then going to put it back on, and we are going to open our nutrient broth. We are going to swirl it in there, make sure it gets all the bacteria on. You're going to burn it. We're going to place the inoculation loop into the isopropyl, put this back on, and move it on to our next. So what we are going to do for this one, we are going to, again, open it, grab my sterile inoculation loop, hold it over the flame, grab some bacteria, shake it around a bit, put the cap back on. And for the slant, what we're going to do is we're going to start from the back, and we are going to work in little zigzags all the way without gouging. So first we're going to flame it. And now, as you can see, I'm going to put it in there so carefully, and I'm just going to rub it back and forth. I don't know if you can see that. Just to make sure, I'm going to flip it over and make sure that I absolutely get all the bacteria off. I'm going to dip this again in the isopropyl. We are going to flame it. And with these jars, we want to make sure that they're closed, but not all the way, so that we can have some bacteria growth. So I'm going to close it and then come back a little bit. We're going to make sure that we do that to both of them, because bacteria needs air to grow for aerobic respiration. So again, I'm going to get my Petri dish now. And at this point, we're going to grab another inoculation loop. Make sure it doesn't touch anything. Open. Gonna flame it. We're going to grab some bacteria. For this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it up. Again, I'm not gonna gouge. And then I'm gonna just run it back and forth like this, getting all the bacteria on. I'm gonna shift it back and forth. One more time. And then one more time. Okay. I'm gonna put this on. Again, putting this in the isopropyl alcohol right here. We can blow out our Bunsen burner. And then we're gonna tape this so that it doesn't open. And then we can now put these specimens in a safe area so that we can let them grow and observe them in 48 and 72 hours. Okay, I just wanted to kind of review the experiment and touch down on things that I think are important in this experiment. So I always think that disinfecting for 2 minutes, wearing the proper PPE, making sure that we're not setting the cap down. I know that I dropped it once, and so always just making it sterile. Also, another really important thing for this experiment that I think I also messed up on is flaming the tubes before and after we grab bacteria. Another thing is always making sure that we put things in the isopropyl and we're disposing of things correctly. And when we put things in the isopropyl, we want to leave it for at least 30 minutes and then dump it down the drain. And again, with the bleach, we're leaving it for a long amount of time so that it kills everything, so that we're keeping our families and our environment safe. So that is all.